This bill is cutting nearly $1 trillion in Medicaid spending overall. Why? Because down the hallway, they are trying to finance tax cuts for people who are inheriting $22 million houses. Because in 2017, Republicans and the Trump administration tried to increase the exemption of what you get a tax break on. If you used to inherit an $11 million house, you would get no taxes. You had no taxes on that, in that estate tax. They said that's not enough. We need no taxes on a $22 million house.
Will the gentlelady yield?
Expired, I have to finish. That expires now. And it costs a lot of money to extend that tax break up to $22 million. So to pay for that, they are doing this. They are modeling and completely retrofitting the United States Medicaid system to model it after the state with the third most catastrophic uninsured American number in the country. In the dead of night at 2:38 in the morning, when everyone is asleep, when we've asked for the opportunity to do this in the light of day so that people can call their representatives' offices in order to stop this disaster. So let's be crystal clear about what's going on right now, because it's not so-called illegals who do not receive a dime in federal Medicaid dollars. That is a tall tale, being nice today. And with that, I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Weber, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to yield back to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The number one goal of this bill is to make clear that if you're working, that the process can work to make sure that you keep your health insurance.
Mr. Chairman,
Make sure you keep your health insurance. But at the end of the day, we believe that it's the right thing to make Medicaid coverage for able-bodied adults, just like insurance for every other American.
will the chair
You've
yield
got
for
to
a question?
work to keep it.
Will the chairman yield for a question?
Actually, at time now, you want to keep going, Mr. Chairman? All right. We'll yield to the gentlelady.
Thank you. In terms of some of the exemptions, pregnancy is covered, correct?
May I interrupt? I'm glad you're addressing us instead of speaking to the camera.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Pregnancy is covered, correct? Yes. As an exemption? I have a question. Given the Dobbs decision and the fact that many women in many states are forced to be
All right,
carrying.
I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna reclaim my.
Okay.
my-
What about
my time.
miscarriage?
Thank you.
What about
I'm
miscarriage?
reclaiming my time. Thank you. I just want to make the point that we'd like for you to address the Republicans and let's have a dialogue
Okay.
this way and not to a camera. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
But
The gentleman yields back.
But I'm asking the question. What about a miscarriage?
The gentleman
I'm
yields
trying to
back.
engage in the way that the
The
gentleman.
lady
requested
is
me
out
to.
of order. The gentleman yields back.
Oh, so we don't want to
Chair,
answer
is
for
there
women having
someone on the
miscarriages and
Democratic
bleeding out in
side
parking
who
lots.
looks to
Okay.
be recognized?
We've had this conversation around the specific words that Republicans would like to use, like shifting. If I was in an office and I was shifting an employee, I'd be shifting them to another role or to another office. I don't hear the Republicans talking about where they're shifting these individuals to. Off Medicaid to what program? Because it's not just Medicaid, it's also the ACA, right? So you're making it harder for people to have health care, and you're not telling anyone where they're going to be shifted to. So if someone relies on Medicaid, right, and now they have these work requirements, this red tape, right, that like in Georgia, like in Arkansas, boots people from Medicaid, right, where are you, quote, shifting them to, right? And you haven't made that point clear at all or spoken to the American people who rely on Medicaid, who rely on the ACA expansion to know where they're going to go. And that's why they're so worried, and that's why we're so worried for them, because we know you're not reinvesting in the program. We know that you have no alternative to Medicaid or the ACA, and that's what's so alarming. And until you can answer those questions, we're going to keep calling out what harm this will do. But I want to yield to my colleague from New York, because I think she was about to touch on some really important questions
Thank
that the American
you.
people need to hear.
Thank you so much. I think my colleague from New Jersey, it seems as though I touched on something that was sensitive for the majority. But this is an important question. Many of us, we're here in Congress. This is a body that is less than 30% female, so it is not uncommon that many of my colleagues are unfamiliar with our biology and the needs for 50% of Americans. Since the majority did not seem interested in answering the question, I would like to pose a question to council. Able-bodied American. Obviously, if you're pregnant, you are covered under the exemption, correct?
That is correct.
If you are not pregnant, you would not be covered under the pregnancy exemption, correct?
That is correct.
So if a woman miscarries, she would then be kicked off the exemption, correct?
The exemption also includes postpartum coverage.
Postpartum, miscarriage. Is miscarriage covered under that?
If a state includes miscarriage under postpartum coverage, then yes.
Federally, in this statute, is miscarriage explicitly included in the language of the text?
The bill includes postpartum coverage as an exemption.
Miscarriage is not listed, correct?
If a miscarriage by a state is included in postpartum coverage, then yes.
Is miscarriage explicitly included in the text of the bill?
It is not explicitly stated in the text.
Thank you very much. I think this is tremendously important for my colleagues to understand, because President Trump nominated anti-abortion, anti-choice Supreme Court justices that now, because of the Dobbs ruling, have forced women to carry not just carry out miscarriages, traumatic miscarriages, which can be debilitating, life-threatening, and then on top of it, could potentially endanger their insurance status. Sit with that. Thank you. Will the gentlelady yield?
I will yield.
Thank you so much. And speaking of where we are addressing and who we are addressing, there are 13.7 million Americans on the other side of that screen right there. Hello? Hello. I'm talking to you because I work for you. And they deserve to see what is happening here, because there are plenty of districts, including Republican ones, where 25% of your constituents are on Medicaid, 40% of your constituents are on Medicaid. And yes, I am
Will the gentlelady yield?
I am talking to them, and I will not yield because it was a terribly disrespectful comment, and I will not yield to disrespectful men. Thank you very much.
You yield back?
We'll yield back to the gentlelady.
Yes, I yield to the doctor from California.